Welcome to the Beach House. This is Angie Gallion. I have a book review for you today called Emilia, and it's by Ellie Midwood. It's a novel that is told first-person narrative from a woman's perspective during the darkest hours of the Nazi Reich. It's told in two parts. The first part is the war, and the second part is called Liberation. And both were complex. I've always been fascinated with World War II. I had several uncles who fought in World War II, and my father always said that they came back changed men, and they never would talk about it. I had a grandfather who fought in the South Pacific, and to my knowledge, he never discussed it. It was a war that changed people. Perhaps all wars change people. They're all complex for sure. This novel is very complex. It read like a memoir to me. I felt like I was reading somebody's personal history. And Midwood has done a really nice job of taking me back in time. Her writing style in this book is a little bit old-fashioned, which brought back the era. And it was very interesting for me to step back in time like that. Throughout this novel, and this novel takes place, like I said, from occupied Poland in 1941 through the end of the war, when they are liberated by the Soviet army. And the beginning half of this novel really sets up the character of Emilia, who is 22 at the time of the beginning of the novel, and she's living with her parents in occupied Poland and is transported to the Jewish ghettos in Krakow and ultimately ends up in a series of camps. And the biggest thing that I loved about this book was the way Midwood creates her characters. There isn't a single one-sided coin in this book. I think there was only one character that I could say I felt was purely bad. I saw no redeeming qualities from this one character, and that's saying something. They are all fully fleshed out. They're all multidimensional. They'll have good traits and bad traits. They all have good motivations and not so good motivations. And I loved that about her writing, because every single person felt real to me. Because I don't think that people are one-sided coins. And I think that we all make choices to do the things that we need to do for reasons that we have justified. And that was interesting. The other thing that I really loved about this book is Emilia's character. She is strong and determined and resilient, and she is not a victim. I think in our society now, we all are looking for victimhood. So many people are out there looking for which victim group they can belong to give them a sense of identity. And I reject that, because I think that our identity shouldn't be based upon the worst situation we've ever been in. I think it should be how we rose above. And this character, Emilia, is definitely a rising above person. She's very pragmatic, and she makes choices, and she takes responsibility for those choices. And so she has, even though there are no good options, she accepts responsibility for the choices she makes. So yes, either she's going to be raped or she's going to be beaten to death. So yes, horrible choice, but does she accept responsibility for the decision she makes? Yeah, she does. And I respect that. I think that's real. I think that we're all, to some degree, that kind of person. I would hope that we would accept responsibility for the choices we make. Anyway, it's a beautiful book. It's very well articulated. It's intelligent. It's complex. So definitely give her a read. After I read this book, I spent some time on her website, and she actually has a section set up for book clubs where she has offered discussion points, and it made me very much wish that I had a book club to join so that I could have this discussion with some others, because it's a great book that opens a lot of doors to discussion and really makes you think. So I hope you'll check her out. Her name is Ellie Midwood. She has several other books. I've put a link to her website in my full review at angiegallion.com. This book was Emilia, and it's fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. Have a good one.